Hi, everybody. I'm Ginny Schuster, and I am here today with Edie Sangiorgio, and I am so excited to have her on. What an amazing life and journey she's been on. She needs to share this with all the viewers about her. It's called the Catie's Corner cartoon, and I've seen some of the work, but the journey that she's gone on to get this far just is amazing. And I want her to share this with other people so that they can see entrepreneurship isn't an easy road. A lot of hard knocks there, and a lot of steps have to go through that you have to go through in order to get to the point that you are. So welcome, Edie. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Ginny, for inviting me. That this is going to be fun.
I
So,
love it. Well, tell us some of your journey. Let's get started so that people get to know you.
um, I would have to say that it starts out with my family. My dad was a doctor. My uncle was a doctor. My sister's a nurse. Everybody's in this medical, field, and so I kind of come from a desire to help people feel better, heal them. I can't do blood though. In fact, I can't do needles, but I can do tears. So I've always been interested in emotional and mental health kind of issues. So that's kind of one aspect of who I am. The other thing is I'm a writer. I've been writing since I was 14 years old. I just kind of had this passion to just create. My husband says I'm always the happiest when I write. So that's kind of this other aspect of me. But I'm also just have an entrepreneurial spirit to me. I don't really like working for other people. I'll do that sometimes, but I'm too independent. And so you kind of like blend all that stuff together and you end up with somebody that wants to write about things and address issues and topics that have to do with people's emotional state, the personal growth stuff. I think in my intro, I said that the bio that I had given you, that the first book I read that was personal growth was The Sky's the Limit by Wayne Dyer back in 1982. And I've just been sort of an avid personal growth, reader and student for all those years. So I ended up, married, and then I end up with several kids through fertility. And so when you have kids in fertility, you end up, not wanting to put them off onto somebody else. And so I was the stay-at-home mom, but I had all this creative energy in me. And so I ended up writing a book about relationships. It was called Divorce Vows. It's still on Amazon. But that journey to write that book was long and arduous as I fumbled through the process of writing and editing and formatting and all that stuff. And then I also got very interested in emotional work. And I met a chiropractor who introduced me to the emotion code and tapping. And so I'm a practitioner for the emotion code and certified as a practitioner for tapping. And for those that don't know what tapping is, it's called emotional freedom technique. And it's a way to kind of move emotional energy out of your bodies and that kind of help reprogram you, which is that part of me that wants to help people heal, So I kind of have that aspect of me. And one of the book ideas that I have is a book called Tapping on the Toilet, How to Get the Crap Out in More Ways Than One. Again, it's that way of blending my writer, my creative sense with, somebody that wants to share with the world tapping.
Yeah.
So
that is creative. I want you to know, Edie.
I know. Well, and I think it gets everybody to laugh, and laughter is a big part of, I think, healing. They always say laughter is the best medicine. Reader's Digest had a whole segment on that for decades. So then it's been about 2.5 years ago, I had this idea about getting a cartoon character. It's like my little alter ego. I'm an introvert, don't like to put myself out there, don't like to draw attention to myself, but I could draw attention to a character that would be different. And so
hiding behind the character.
Right. It's almost like a ventriloquist.
Yeah.
It can say all kinds of things, And
but that didn't come from Edie.
No, it came from the dummy,
Right. Yeah.
And so I went on Fiverr and I connected with this guy named Claudio DeMarco. He's down in Brazil. He doesn't speak English, but he writes English very well. So we communicate. And so I told him I wanted this character of a work at home mom and behind her desk. And so he, I guess he looked at my picture. So she kind of looks just a little bit like me. She could kind of be like, maybe she could be my daughter, maybe, or my sister. So it's not exactly like me, but she's got blonde hair and she'll put glasses on top of her head and that kind of thing. And so she's sitting behind her desk, the first one, and she's got pink slippers on and she's dressed okay from the, up her waist up. And the caption was, I just love working from home. It's cut my commute from miles to steps, just 9,950 steps to go. So it's that idea that it's great to be able to work from home, but there's a sacrifice in that you don't really go very far. You got 50 steps to your office. And so I liked it so well. And then I don't even know if I had the name Catie yet, but in his picture, he had this pink kind of angle of the shadowing that was like the corner was colored a different color that kind of shadowed it. And so I thought it's like Catie's corner. That's how I came up with the name.
Wow.
He had this corner that just had this place that you could just put a name. And this is like Catie's little life, her little corner for the world, And so that's where the name came from, was Catie. And I liked it so much, I gave him another idea. So I just kept sending him captions, and he was doing all these cartoons. And we started out with perfectionism and procrastination and going in networking meetings and having the fear of getting up and doing your elevator pitch and, just all the typical, entrepreneurial topics.
Entrepreneurial fears.
And fears, right.
Yeah.
And issues, like being a perfectionist or procrastinating.
Yeah.
And this was, we started in the winter of 2019. And so it took a few months to kind of get a bunch of them, ready to kind of launch and get my website, set up. And he did the banner, her picture on the banner. I'll show it to you. And COVID hit.
Oh, right.
And I went, oh no. I said, we cannot be putting out cartoons on perfectionism and procrastination when everybody's locked down with their kids and they're fearful of this little virus that they're pushing out there and scaring everybody. And so I had to completely revamp. And so then we started doing COVID topics and what it was like to be a work at home mom and have your kids at the same kitchen table doing their homework as you're trying to do your work and deal with the social distancing and the masks and the toilet paper and, the hoarding and, just a bunch of COVID topics. So we launched with that. And then Claudio said, the moms down in Brazil are going through the exact same things that you all are going through. I'd like to see them done in Portuguese and Spanish. Ooh. So there was a dot sister, a polka dot gal up in Massachusetts that could speak Portuguese, and she was a translator actually.
Oh, terrific!
For no cost, just as a gratuitous for me, she translated a bunch of the cartoons that were the COVID cartoons in Portuguese and Spanish. So on the website, I've got Catie in multilingual, and at some point, I'd like to do all of them in multilingual because they're kind of universal topics. So that was like the first 6 months or so. And then I got off onto doing the regular cartoons of different topics. But COVID sort of, kept us, bunkered down in our homes and we couldn't go out and network.
Oh,
and
yeah.
People would ask me, what are you going to do with Catie? I go, I don't know yet. I'll have to wait and see where she goes. I didn't really have a particular end game with Catie. It was just more of my creative self just kept coming up with these captions. They would pop into my head. I go, oh, that one's funny, and so I'd send it to Claudio, and he's just terrific. His artwork is so detailed and just fun.
And we'll show the viewers here in a couple minutes what it looks like.
We will. Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
And So I've just been working on Catie doing these cartoons and trying to figure out, well, now how am I going to get Catie, and I was thinking about maybe putting Catie on the cover of the Tapping on the Toilet book, and having Catie discover tapping, and I'm still not sure that might happen, but I'm trying to figure out, this is, okay, God, you keep giving me all these little pieces of the puzzle, but you're not giving me that center piece that's showing me how to connect them together.
Yeah.
And so I'm still a work in progress.
Wow.
We're.
And how long have you been doing this?
Well, we started originally in 2019 when I met Claudio. I launched in April of 2020. So it's been 2 years now.
Okay.
And we've got probably, I don't know, between 80 and 90 cartoons. Some of them I repurpose because they're pretty generic and, like she's sitting behind her desk or something. So I come up with a new caption and I put a new caption on an older cartoon, but probably original cartoons, I'd say 80 original cartoons. And then a whole lot more that I've repurposed them. And now I'm working on a book that's going to come from Catie. Catie's writing the book. And it's on self-care. And again, I'm going to be able to include tapping into it. That'll be one of the activities, because the working title is, if I can think of this, okay, it's like Catie's post-COVID a complete guide to survival and thrival for the average working mom.
Ooh,
50
wow.
50 self-care activities to help you look, feel, and be your best.
Oh, wow. That's terrific.
And I started coming up with all these, and it's amazing. I could come up with even 50 plus activities. I didn't think I'd come with that many. And some of them are very simple. Some of them are, watch an inspirational video. Okay. Or read, self-growth, books or inspirational books. And then some of them are the typical, taking care of your body, doing Epsom salt baths, drinking water. And then what's so funny is as I'm researching the book, I go, okay, I put in there like drink tea, because I've got a picture. Catie's already has a bunch of cartoons with these topics in them. And so I put in benefits of drinking green tea. Well, who knew there was this many? It's like, I didn't know green tea that for you. And every time I work on one of these activities, I go, oh, I should be doing that. So I go make myself a cup of tea.
So you're drinking tea.
And then I did, core exercises. One of the activities is doing your core exercises. And before I know it, I'm on the floor doing my, practicing my core exercises. But gosh, I need to do these more often, And so it's inspiring me to take care of myself in little ways.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I'm hoping that that's what the book does, is it gives you the idea, oh, this isn't that hard. And this is, I'll give you the one that's really the funny one that kind of launched it, is I had Claudia do a cartoon of Catie, and she's in her robe, I think, and her hair's on top of her head in a towel, and she's brushing her teeth, and she's doing a squat. She looks at the audience and she says, what? You never seen somebody do squats while brushing their teeth? I call them squat brushes. And so it's the idea that, you know what? While you're brushing your teeth, you could be doing your squats, couldn't you? And so when I wrote the chapter on squats just yesterday, and I went, the benefits of doing squats. Well, who knew? I mean, the big muscle groups, and it helps your posture, it helps your digestion. It gives you flexibility. It strengthens your muscles, which helps your bone density. I mean, it's like this nice long list of things for squats.
Yeah.
But
women are known for multitasking.
Oh, I know. And in the book, I says, well, this is a unique way to multitask.
Yeah.
But the whole book is a kind of, now there's some that take time, meditation takes quiet time, and journaling and some of those things. But there's a bunch of them that you can do just, they're Kegel exercises. You and I could be doing our Kegel exercises right now.
How do you know I'm not?
I know. But the thing is that we forget, and that's the other card. I told you this one, but I'll say it again, is the cartoon of Catie, and she's petting her cat, and she says, maybe if I named my cat Kegel, I'd remember to do the blooming exercises.
I love it. I need a
I know,
cat. I
I
know
know.
its new name.
And the whole thing is that as women, we forget to take care of ourselves.
Yep.
And as
Oh,
moms,
you're so right, Edie.
especially as
Yeah.
mom, we are so busy taking care of everybody else that we fail to do the little things. It's the little things. And I was calculating that if you did brush your teeth for 2 minutes in the morning and 2 minutes at night, I can do 25 squats in a minute, which makes 50 squats every time I brush my teeth, which is 100 squats a day. That's 700 squats a week, 2,800 squats a month. And then I have to multiply that times 12, but that's a lot of squats after a year.
Oh my goodness, that is.
If
You don't have to go
it,
to the gym.
Exactly. And it didn't take one extra moment out of your day.
Wow. People don't think of that. I mean, I never thought of that. And I think of myself as a multitasker, but
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I love that idea. Do you have the book there? Can you show us some viewing of what
I don't have the book, but I can show you Catie's her website.
Okay, let's do that so that people know what it looks like.
Right.
There she is.
There's Catie.
Oh, she looks like you.
She does kind of look like me, but she's not with the same, definitely not the same mouth and the shape of the eyes. But I told you he made her blonde. So she kind of looks like a relative of mine.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
And then there's her family. And so she's got the 10-year-old that's the pre-tween that's kind of got the attitude, the little, little 3-year-old Brady, and he's precocious. And then she's got the baby.
Oh, yeah.
And then Kyle is her husband. And then some of my writing, thought I should let people know more about Catie. So I would write down Catie's thoughts. And so I've got a section called Catie's thoughts. And then I'll take some of my social media posts and put those, in here. And then I just added the self-care tip section right there. And one of the that I worked on yesterday, self-care activities, is mirror work.
Oh,
where you talk to yourself in the mirror. So that was the tip for right there.
So this is on your website.
This is on the website, catiescorner.net, right?
Okay.
And so like this one over here about, it's about perfectionism. And I actually stole that idea from someplace else where they left out all the E's or the,
okay. I see. Yeah.
See, and it doesn't matter. So it really brings home the point that we don't have to be perfect in order to get our message across, or to be or to make a difference in the world. Or, perfectionism is not what it's cracked up to be.
Oh, it's really hard on you. Very stressful.
Oh, very stressful.
And yet I think an awful lot of women go through that mentality, and it takes them a while to gain confidence, and everyone does it in a different way.
Right. But Catie, she always has on her little pink slippers.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Look at that.
And then she's got a dog and a cat. So we'll have to bring in pet care or pets, at some point. I do actually have a couple of ones that have the pets in them that are part of the cartoon. And then I just throw in some little lines. And see, this is from me. I read to my kids every night, and that's one of the reasons why I wouldn't go and pursue work to the point where it took time away from my kids.
Yeah. I think that reading is very important to the kids.
Right. So anyway, so that's kind of it. And then here's Catie multilingual.
Oh, okay. Look at that. Oh, how fun. Miss Global.
Yeah.
And for those people who don't know, Polka Dot Sisters is a global organization of women who get together any place in the country. And what's fun about it is once you're a member of Polka Dots, when you go on a trip, you can connect with different polka dots and they'll give you
Right.
information on where you can eat, the best places to go visit, that sort of stuff.
Well, and even
I'm,
just
I'm just,
having coffee with a fellow polka dot, while you're on your trip. So like
yeah.
here's Catie with the entrepreneurship. Now, see, this is a funny one. This is the first one right here, right? This on the right. That
Oh,
was the
okay.
first one. See how it kind of just had this spot for Katie's corner right there.
Yeah.
And then my friend Chris, who is the computer guy, he was telling me that I should come up with a passphrase for a password.
Oh, okay.
So this is Catie, this is her password.
I love it. How creative, Edie.
I know. And then this brings in about the personal growth, when you're the 5 people that you spend the most time around, She says, don't you dare tell a mother that we become the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with, because that we mothers would end up becoming narcissistic, snot-nosed crybabies.
Oh, what's funny is this is so much like entrepreneurship when you're trying to get in, just decide what business you're going to get into. You've encapsulated all of this stuff for people. There's so much personal growth that goes on. And
oh yeah. Well, and then like the Zoom, everybody's been on Zoom.
Yeah.
And so it's Katie's like, oh God, and then this one right here about perfectionism and procrastination.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. I figured out how to perfect the art of procrastination.
Right.
Now, at some point, this is going to be another book, but you've already had experience in writing a book. So I'm sure this one will be a whole lot easier for you.
Well, this one's going to be an ebook, and I'm still not quite sure how I can do it. The main thing is to spread the message, of self-care and make
Right.
it fun, And one of my lines was going to be something like, self-care is no laughing matter, but then maybe it should be, I mean, why don't we make it a little bit more lighthearted,
Because you're right, because people get stressed about taking care of themselves, especially moms, where they think that it's their job to be the caregiver all the time.
Right.
Yeah. I like that idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and then like, see this one, when she says, my business coach keeps encouraging me to come up with my big why. So all day long I go around saying, why? And then I realize, oh my God, I'm starting to sound like my 3-year-old.
Oh my goodness, does that touch home?
I know, but to see, and that combines that motherhood with the entrepreneur and the struggle and that conflict that working moms have, because on one part of your brain and in your heart, in your to-do list is all about your kids. And then this other side of you is completely, and when it crosses over, it comes out kind of funny, because we get irritated at our 3-year-old for going why all the time. And yet our business coach, that's what they're asking us.
It is. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So much to think about here.
Right. And then like, this is this is the elevator fit pitch. I've got a 30-second elevator pitch, and I'll walk you to your car and tell you more pitch, and let me pour my heart out over drinks and tell you who I really am pitch.
Oh, what points you make. Oh, this is hurtful.
And then in this political climate, she goes, I like to think I'm politically correct in my business. Well, as long as politically incorrect thoughts don't count.
Yeah. Oh, Edie, you definitely know how to get people to laugh. These are terrific.
Well, anyway, so this is you can go on, for those of you watching, you can go on Katie's corner and just laugh along with her, and if you got some ideas, or I'm also letting people be in cartoons. So let me see if I can find a couple of people that are.
Now, I also saw that people can go on and subscribe to you. I don't think that I've
Right.
subscribed yet, so I'll
Right.
make sure that I do that because I absolutely love these.
Right. And now this is my Chris Smith. He's my friend who has the business CompuStar. And so he does all my takes care of my computers.
Oh, okay.
So I put him in one of the cartoons, and he says, Catie, I can clean up your computer viruses, but you're going to have to start practicing some social media distancing. The viruses you're picking up there are infecting your attitude. Anyway, and I think I've got other ones. Maybe they're listed someplace else, but I've got some other people.
Okay.
That are. It's kind of fun to see my,
So that's the personal growth channel.
yeah. I like this one. I'd like to think that calm feeling I have in my gut is my intuition speaking to me, but then maybe it's just the Alka-Seltzer kicking in.
Do they even make Alka-Seltzer anymore?
I don't know.
Yeah, I've got an old one. I should have thrown out.
Oh, and see this. Right now, this is me with getting acupuncture. This is my acupuncturist, Jennifer.
Yeah.
And I have this phobia for needles. So she says, Catie, relax. I know you have a phobia of needles, but I promise you, you won't faint. You're already lying down.
So these really are experiences you've gone through that you're expressing in a humorous way.
So now we just have to figure out, okay, God, what do you want me to do with her? How do you want me to make her have an impact in the world in a funny, positive way, but at the same time make a difference?
Yeah.
And get messages out there that
and I think that's the big role of most entrepreneurs is they want to figure out a way that they can give back to society of positivity and how they can help people.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Make their lives better, whatever the problem is, they want to offer the solution.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is a great way, as opposed to some of the businesses where they keep saying, don't throw up on the people and tell them everything about you. Maybe you could do a humorous one on that, where someone's trying to drill in, this is what I do at the network meetings.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just, you just have to find creative ways to, market yourself and let people know who you are. And should I tell them about what Chris shared with me about the little cards?
Yeah, let's talk about that. That would be a great tip for people.
I saw one on the internet, and I'm going to kind of like steal or paraphrase because it didn't have a person's quote, or who it was by. But basically, the gist is, it says, embrace your uniqueness. Remember that the sperm that made you beat out millions of others. Isn't that great?
Oh, I love it.
It's like, it's one of those things that I love it when you laugh and it gets you to think, and it's it's like, oh my gosh, that's so true. And it gets you to kind of go, I can embrace my uniqueness. And there's a scientific reason for it.
Oh, I love it.
And I mean, if you think about that's the creation. That is the beginning of our creativity. Was that sperm said, I'm the one. I'm going to make this. I'm going to do it. And that started your whole life. Right. Well, and then also I wrote my book, Divorce Vows.
Oh, wow.
That was one of my learning experiences, that I took a second mortgage out of my house.
Oh, wow.
Well, we already had the second mortgage. I just took money out of that, account, So spent a lot of money. It was a very expensive learning experience. And it's still there. I could still go back and market it. I mean, it's kind of, divorce is timeless, it's always ongoing.
Yeah.
And, it was a spiritual book on relationships.
Oh my goodness.
The premise was, if you can't have a successful marriage, then have a successful divorce. And here's a roadmap. Because that's the writer in me. My husband always says, Edie, you're the happiest when you write.
Yeah.
I just have to write. And it's like, I don't know what's going to come out of me any particular day or period in my life. I never thought I would create a Catie's Corner, but I connected with Claudio, which was a divine connection. He was about to get off Fiverr when I showed up. And now we've done, pushing 100 cartoons, 90 something cartoons, maybe.
Wow.
And he's doing the book, the book I'm working on. He's doing all the illustrations for that.
Divine intervention.
Yeah. Well, and
on both parts.
Well, and we got to be open to it. And then you just have to kind of run with it. And one of the other quote that I'm going to put on one of my cards is, sometimes the only available next step is a leap of faith.
Wow.
Wow.
Isn't that true?
You don't know what your next step is going to be. And you just have to leap out there in faith and just run with it and just go, I don't know why I'm going down this road. It's like, why are you climbing this mountain? I don't know. I'll tell you when I get to the top.
That is so true, Edie. I cannot believe that.
I mean, and I kind of feel like that's been my whole career. I keep meandering from one passion. I thought that this was going to be it. It's like I feel like I'm dating businesses or I'm dating ideas.
Yeah.
And until I feel like I, run out of their fizzle or something, or I go, I don't like you anymore. But I've been married 35 years, so I can stick with something. So it's not like I don't have that capacity in me, but I've just never found that one thing. I'm hoping that Catie is it. I hope that Catie's is the one thing that I go, okay, I'm going to run with this and then turn this into a major brand. That's kind of what my goal is.
Yeah.
It's like, where did Maxine come from?
But all this is valuable information.
I was going to do a course, by the way. I hired Karen Fournier to come over, and I spent money 2 hours to help me set up. And then I get to thinking, and I just never really, I got the whole curriculum all written out and everything, but I couldn't seem to pull the trigger. And then all of a sudden I had this idea for this book, and the writer in me goes, yes, let's do that, instead.
Yeah.
And so
follow that path.
Well, and it's also, it was a way to connect Catie, because the course has nothing to do with Catie. Exactly. Whereas the book is going to be coming from Catie. This is Catie's book. Catie's writing this book from her perspective, as a working mom that's like frazzled and trying to balance everything and and facing. I came up with another cartoon idea, and I don't know whether I'm going to have Claudia do it soon because he's working on the book stuff. But it's going to be Catie sitting in a group setting with a bunch of women around, in a circle, and on this wall behind her, it's going to have "Welcome to AA," and then she's going to say, "Hi, my name is Catie, and I'm addicted to adrenaline." So, it's like the adrenaline junkies. You got to go all the time, and it's that. And I was going to have addicted to anxiety or because she's anxious, or it's like addicted to drama.
Or you could leave it open so that people can fill in the blank.
Well, I think, and I'm going to leave it the adrenaline, because I think that's a softer approach. It's not anxiety, because that's kind of a heavy topic.
Exactly.
But adrenaline, and people have heard the term adrenaline junkies.
Yeah.
And the self-care book is about how to calm everything down, take a little bit of a breather space, and do some self-care of getting your brain waves a little bit calmer, or doing Kegel exercises. That's the cartoon I did with her when she has her cat. She's petting the cat. Maybe if I named the cat Kegel, I'd remember to do the blooming exercises.
I love that.
And because they're just so busy. When moms are so freaking busy.
Yeah.
And that's your adrenaline. It's not that she doesn't want to be addicted to adrenaline, but that she can't seem to figure out how to counterbalance that and stop doing it, because moms have this feeling like, if I'm not there doing it for my children, or always there doing whatever what they expect of me.
Oh,
Then
I can relate so well to
yeah,
that.
you know. And I was talking to Sarah Morris. She's the owner of the We Spot, which is a blog site for women, and I'm one of the writers for this year. And she said, I used to think that I had to, before I left the house, I'd have to do the crock pot, make sure there was dinner every night.
I did the
Oh,
same thing.
I know, and so that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, the adrenaline of feeling like you've got to always be on high alert to make sure everything's getting done.
Yeah.
And so I think Catie's going to also be a lot about organization. I think she's going to bring in organizational tools. Like Catie could have a calendar, for instance, or Catie could have a cookbook of easy recipes, things that you can throw in, at the last minute, or even your 10-year-old can put together for you, or something. I don't know, but I'm still trying to figure out my target audience.
I think you have it named, don't you? These busy moms who are they're super moms, super women.
Right. And I'm also gonna try to appeal to the creative moms out there, the ones that are just like me, that had children and feel compelled to make sure that they're taken care of, but there's this creative sense in them that they want to go out and do something in the world. They want to make their mark. They can't just be at home. They have to be doing something. That's when I wrote my book. That's what saved me from just being a stay-at-home mom. That's when I wrote my book. Because I had to, I'd take the kids to school and I'd come back to my computer and I'd get creative, but I didn't want to be obligated to anybody else, in responsibility and make it all about the money and put that kind of pressure on me. I wanted to be able to just to be creative when it was going to work with my schedule, so that's why I think I wrote the book. It's kind of selfish in that way.
No, that's not. No, that's self-care.
It was protective because we didn't need the money at the time. And plus my kids were fertility kids. So I wasn't going to go here, I'm going to have a bunch of kids now. Oh, kids, you can just raise yourself. I'm going to go off and do this job to fulfill me, So I had to find ways to get fulfillment outside of motherhood.
Right.
And my creativity just kept coming up, and so I wrote this book, and I thought the book was going to be the thing. Oh, I don't know whether I told you this, but when my kids were about 2, I was trying to go to sleep one night, and I was in that la state, and I not asleep and not, I was in that, beginning stage, and all of a sudden sparklers went off in my eyelids, and my brain woke up, and I was alert, and I literally heard a voice say, "You have more work to do before you write."
Ooh, wow!
I shot up in bed and went, "Holy crap! I heard that. Okay, what's the work?" And for a year, I still don't know what that meant. I kept thinking, motherhood or just life was my work. And then when I had the book idea, I go, oh, that's what I was supposed to write, and maybe it's Catie now, I don't know, because the book didn't go anywhere. I didn't know how to market it.
That's usually the issue that people have. They don't know exactly how to market it, but with Catie's Corner, you're getting out there a lot more. Plus, you're done pretty much with motherhood. So therefore, you have the time. If you're working on Catie's Corner, people are going to want to know what else you've done. So that's where, here you go. Here's another book that I've written. And there are a lot of people who find interest in that subject.
Right. Well, and the thing about, at least with the book, it was that sense of, I can take an idea, a complex idea, and work on it for because it took me a number of years to write the book. And then put my money behind my work and see it all the way through to completion to I actually have a book in hand. It's not like I've got a book idea I want to write one day. People have those all the time. I actually did it. And I can go, I did it. I wrote a book and I brought it all the way to market. Now I didn't take it all the way to, to sales, but at least I produced it. I didn't just say I
That's
was gonna write
very, very admirable and
Yeah,
not an easy task.
no, it's not. And it, like I said, we spent a lot of money on it. And partly is because I had all these editors. I had 7 editors.
Wow.
And
What
and
do you
then
mean you gave each
that
one a
picture,
copy?
right, that picture back there
Yeah.
behind me with the cake, that's the
Yeah.
cover of the book. And so
Oh,
what it was is one of Rich's ex coworkers, he's air traffic control guy. I was somehow, I forgot how I ended up connecting back with him, but he had retired for medical reasons, and he always thought of himself as a wordsmith. And he was going through a divorce, or he had maybe recently gone through a divorce, and he said, I could edit the book for you. So I go, good. I gave it to him. Well, months went by, and before he even read the book, he painted that picture for me. And it's a picture of, you can see maybe, you see it? It's a groom on the top of a wedding cake
oh, yeah.
and the
Mhm.
bride, and there's a
Yep.
rope hanging down, and the bride is kind of looking down, not looking up at him. She's looking away. And so what's interesting is that in the book, I actually talk about how when you get married, it's like you get a climbing partner.
Oh,
And he did that, and he was a climber. He was a rock climber. And he did that
interesting.
actually before he read the book. And I went, that's my cover.
Wow.
That's the cover. And so he was my first editor. Then I ended up going through a bunch of other ones. But the problem was is that each one of them, except for one, had been divorced.
Wow.
And so they would tell me, oh, everything I wanted to hear about being an editor, and you're speaking to the crowd choir, and I know this subject, or I what I forgot what they, because it's many years ago what they told me, but I go, oh, good. I gave them the manuscript, and then when they would get it back to me, they would kind of like go, here you go. It's like, oh. I had one of them, and I'm on the beach in New York. We went to go back to visit my mother-in-law in Long Island. And I'm sitting there first day on the beach, and she's screaming at me that my book made her sick. She was up all night, or whatever. I forgot exactly. But basically, she was berating me because of how the book got to, I guess it was difficult for her to edit or something. But again, all of my editors had been divorced. So I think what happened is that they had to process their own crap in their own, what they did in their divorce as they're going through the book.
Wow.
I guess again, it was just speculation, because
Yeah.
it is a book that really calls you out on getting out of your ego and getting away from the typical way of approaching divorce. And anyway, so that was a learning experience, expensive learning experience, but
In more ways than one.
yeah,
Probably.
we're each here for a reason, and the purpose, I guess, is to figure out why.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Why did God make me exactly the way that I am? And why did I run into the people that I've run into? And why did I have the ideas that I have? And why do certain things happen for a reason? And I think it's just it's part of the mystery of life, is to put it all together and to try to have fun while you're doing it, and to take things a little bit lighter. And that's why I think Catie has been kind of dear to my heart, because she's helping me talk about serious topics, from a more humorous, perspective. And so if you can bring some lightheartedness to any business that you're doing, I think it's a great way to connect with people.
I love it. That's so true, Edie. Thank you so much for that input.
Welcome.
Will you say that one again, one last time?
It says, embrace your uniqueness. Remember that the sperm that made you beat out millions of others. It's just to let you know that, and if anybody's visualized, remember back in science, biology class, you see the little egg and the video of the sperms attacking, there's all these sperms attacking the egg and none of them get in. And finally, one of them just squirms its way in and just digs, it's like, why that one?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a reason. I don't know why, but there's a reason for that. So, but people can go to catiescorner.net. You can subscribe. There's a little yellow button up in the top. And people can email me at edie.sangiorgio at Gmail. And the last name is a little hard to spell. It's Sangiorgio. And it's St. George in Italian.
I love it. Italian.
So,
and she loves Italian food. I can.
Oh, she likes food.
Yeah. Oh,
she likes food.
Well, thank you so much, Edie, for sharing so much great information. This was so fun going and
thank you.
Catie's Corner.
Thanks for the opportunity, Ginny. This was fun for me as well. Again, anybody out there that's a creator and have an idea, not sure why you're doing what you're doing, don't worry about it. Neither do I.
Yeah.
Ginny and I were talking earlier, and it's kind of like the idea, why are you climbing the mountain? You go, I don't know. I'll tell you when I get to the top.
That's right. Yeah. So thank you all for joining us. Have a great day.